Are you not sure of the ins and outs of playing as a third in lawn bowls? Want some advice on drills that you can use to help you train? Well, let's get stuck in and help you to be better. Let's go. Hi, I'm Matt Clark, Bowls Australia accredited coach. In this video, we're going to look into the intricacies of playing as a third in lawn bowls. Now, this is the third version of the video in the series of role of a lawn bowler, but it's not specific to any positions. So almost all lawn bowlers need to learn different shots and drills that will help them in other forms of the game. Now, if you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button underneath, like the channel, and feel free to comment whether it's good or bad. I really enjoy the banter. Now, if you'd like to be kept up to date with all that's happening in the channel and more, jump onto Facebook and look up the Mats, Jacks and Balls page. Now, what does the job of a third actually look like? Now, from my personal point of view, I see the third as a specialist who can do all the skip's dirty work. This may mean drawing the shot bowl off. It may mean playing a sweeping shot with a metre or two on. It may mean running straight up through the middle and changing the head completely. Now, the third really is the workhorse of the side, needing skills to play many different shots to either build the lead, cover possible changes in the head, or make changes to the head themselves. Now, as I said, I love thirds doing all the dirty work required before the skip gets on the mat and potentially just draws. Now, we're going to look at a few drills today to help the thirds confidently play many shots that you may be required. So let's get started with those drills. Okay, so for our first drill in this video, what we're going to do is we're drawing to the kitty on our first bowl and then trying to get somewhere near the tee, if not between the tee and the ditch, to cover any kind of movement of the kitty, or if somebody comes slamming up the middle. So where you put the kitty is completely up to you, but what we're doing, like I said, draw, and then we're adding a bit of weight to make sure that we've got a bowl back. So let's see how this goes to start with. So straight draw to start with. And that's not going to be far away. And then for our next bowl, like I said, we're adding 3.5, 4 metres. And what we're trying to do is just get a bowl behind, make sure that we're well covered. And again, we're just trying to save a bit of work for the skip. So there we go, that's our first drill. Draw to the kitty, then put a bowl well behind just to cover off any moves that your opponent's going to do. Righto, on to the next one. Okay, for our second drill, what we're trying to do here is practice our cover shots. So in the scenario where you're holding 2 or 3, the skip will generally ask you to start playing coverage. So in case the opposition comes through, plays sweeping shots, takes kitty, it's now just consolidating where you potentially will drop shots and covering those shots. So in this scenario here, I've got the kitty down, as you'll see, and I've got 2 tennis balls 2 metres behind and a metre to the right and to the left. So for this purpose in this video, I'm only going to throw down a backhand and a forehand, but what you can do is you can bowl 2 on the backhand, 2 on the forehand, or if you'd like, similar to the previous drill, draw 1 to start off with and then play 3 cover shots. So it's completely up to you, but what we're trying to do is just add that 2 metres on, go a little bit wider, just so you know, hey, if you're called to do those shots in a game, you can. So let's see how it goes. So there's our first on the backhand. Now, they don't have to be precise, as that one's not, because it's way heavy. They don't have to be precise, but as long as you're within a mat, a metre, that's a good bowl. So I'll put down my forehand. So again, all we're trying to do is just cover bowls. So this is not far away. So again, if somebody wants to come screaming through the head or playing sweeping shots where the kiddie's going to move, you know you can put bowls back there, or even if it's a good practice, if the kiddie does move, then you know how to draw straight off the bat. So that's that drill. Next on, we'll move to playing a bit of weight. Righto, for this drill, what we've got is we've got 2 tennis balls. I've got them about 2 feet either side of the center line. Now what we're trying to do is play with varying weights to get through those tennis balls. So first one I do is probably 2 meters of weight. The next one's probably 4 meters of weight. And the third one that I'll demonstrate is pretty much flat out down the middle. But again, your flat out and my flat out, or an Australian's player's flat out, are 3 completely different. So you play the weight that you want. As you get better with this exercise, of course, bring your tennis balls in and try and nail it. But what you're doing, at least as a third, you know if the skip asks you for a certain amount of weight to go through the head, you can play them. So let's give this a go. So again, we're playing with probably 2 meters of weight on this one. If it's going to get down. Okay, so the next one up, we're playing with about 4 meters of weight, and we'll try 2. That might be a bit more than 4 meters of weight. But again, you're just trying shots of varying weight to try and get through the hole. So again, you know you can get through the head with a fair amount of weight. Now this one is going to be fairly heavy, but that's what we're trying to do. Just differing up your different weights of shots. So there we go. You can practice that, as I said, with different weights. But as a third, definitely practice that drill. You'll also be able to start picking your lines of what weight you can play to try and get through a head like that. Righto, on to the last and final drill. Okay, for the final drill, what we're trying to do is we're going to play with some weight. Now, one of the hardest shots to play in bowls, and I don't care at what level, when you play with weight, so you play with weight on your first bowl. And when I talk about weight, for example, that kiddie's probably 2.5, 3 meters away from the tee. So I am using enough weight to get into the ditch. All right, and then your second bowl, you're drawing, flat draw. So you're playing with weight and then draw. Like I said, it's one of the hardest shots to play in bowls because you haven't got a reference point in terms of your weight. It's pretty simple, somewhat, to throw a draw down and then readjust slightly for a second draw. This one, you've absolutely got no gauge whatsoever because you've played with weight on your first and then flat draw on your second. So again, kiddie down the other end, the weight you play is your weight. But what we're trying to do is play enough weight to get into the ditch. All right, so let's give this a go. So that's the weight there, that's well and truly in the ditch. And now what we're trying to do is a flat draw. As you can see, I'm a bit heavy. Now, that's what you'll find. You'll find that you're heavy on your second bowl. So we'll give it another go. So again, 2 bowls. I'll do it the other hand this time. Try and play with weight through the kiddie. That's probably a touch wide, which it is. But then ease it right off and try and draw. So it looks like, again, that I'm heavy, and I'm pretty heavy. That's why I say this is one of the hardest shots to play in bowls, is when you've played with weight and then it's hard to get into your head that you've got to back that right off. but that's why we practice these types of drills. So that's it for that drill. Okay, so that's it for this video of the role of playing a third. Now, as I said earlier, it's not just about having to play third, it's about improving a game from an overall standpoint. In singles, there's plenty of shots like this you can use, or if you are playing as a third, again, go back to the lead video or the second video, learn different drills, different skills to enhance your game. At the end of the day, it's all about being better. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.